Everybody, we've gone live here. Ness is saying, hang on, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm Dr. Edward, the healing vet, and this is like a little introductory teaser chat, which we hope will inspire you to come along with us and learn an incredible amount in the most to prevent and heal anxiety in your pets in the most holistic way possible. So I'm Dr. Ed, the healing vet. We've got Ness Jones, who's a dog trainer, dog behavior, separation anxiety expert, and one of our expert speakers on the Pet Anxiety Summit, which is starting on Monday, which is only a couple of days away from right now, which is kind of exciting.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. I think it's such an important topic. So, yeah.
So tell us just briefly, we've got dogs barking, which is kind of perfect for dog anxiety video, I reckon.
You know what? This one's on my lap because it's bin day. He's very noise phobic, and he's actually just got the bin's just gone past the bin man, and so he's shaking like that.
So that's escalated your other dog, and this is what happens, right? We have this co-regulation thing. If you've got a household with multiple dogs, if you get one dog in there who's anxious, when they escalate, then all the other dogs escalate too, and the humans escalate. So it's a whole family thing that we have to deal with. But your particular thing that you work most closely with people on is separation anxiety, yeah?
Yes, it is, yeah.
So tell us a little bit, give us a 1-minute summary of your talk for this summit.
I think we talked about preventing anxiety in dogs specifically, but also obviously touching on the separation anxiety side of things as well. So as we know, dogs that are left home alone can often really struggle with that time. And so the talk is designed to help dog caregivers and guardians to take those first steps to help their dogs get through that period and that time of being home alone.
And I suppose if you get a new puppy, you can start teaching them to be alone with you while they're in the house, right? Is that a good way to start?
Yeah, if it's done mindfully and carefully. I'm not one of these people that advocate for forced independence. I think it should be done really so the dog feels confident and feels safe. So I like this analogy quite a lot. So if I've got a new puppy, or let's talk about a toddler. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't you want to teach your toddler to swim. You wouldn't throw them in the deep end of the pool and expect them to be able to, not be fearful. They would be panicked and screaming, and they'd probably never go near water ever again in their entire lives. So that's what we don't want for our puppies. We want our puppies to not be thrown in the deep end. So with a toddler, if you want to teach them to swim, you get in the shallow with them, you get in with them, you make them feel confident about the water and enjoy it. And so that's what we're trying. That's the goal really for puppies. Like, yes, teach them to be independent, but do it in a kind and safe manner.
Oh, absolutely. Kind and safe is incredibly important for everything that we do with our dogs. And the kinder and safer we can make it, the better. And I know that you're very passionate about positive rewards and working with dogs in ways that they feel, you're not pushing them, forcing them. But you do have to have some degree of healthy discomfort sometimes, I think, when you're working with dogs, if you avoid. But there's a big difference between healthy discomfort and forced discomfort too, I think.
Oh, definitely,
The way I define healthy discomfort is that the dog can still stay regulated. They might be a little bit frustrated about not being able to jump all over, be on top of you or have your attention, but they're not escalating and getting worse and worse and taking themselves into crazy zone.
There's that difference between eustress, which is good, and distress, which is bad. So yeah, eustress, okay, but yeah, let's avoid the distress.
So eustress is EU, then stress, yeah?
I think so, yeah. There you go.
Can you define that term? Because I haven't actually heard anyone use that before.
Oh, okay. I'm not proficient at this. I must admit. So, but my understanding is that eustress is basically what you're describing. So that element of frustration, maybe where the dog is a little bit stressed about what they're trying to learn, for example. But that stress, they're still thinking about, their thinking brain is still engaged and they are actually learning, as opposed to obviously distress where, the stress is too much. Maybe their thinking brain's gone west, gone for a little flight somewhere, and you see the fear, the anxiety, the stress, etc., etc., etc.
I just
But
said
I'm
a quick.
not in the field.
I just said a.
out
I
there
just
as
said
a
a. I just had a quick look for a definition, and it says eustress refers to stress that leads to a positive response and can refer to any kind of beneficial stress.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I said.
That is what you said, but it's nice sometimes to hear it in different words.
Yes.
Yeah. So, why do you think it's important that people should come along and grab their free seat in this Pet Anxiety Summit, which we've spent, 9 months creating? I think we did the interview way back.
Yeah, I think it was April. Well, not just for myself, of course. I mean, if people have dogs with separation anxiety, then they definitely will want to come. But you have Dr. Ed, you've got so many amazing speakers on this summit, and they're talking about all types of anxiety and how to resolve it. So I think it's going to be amazing. So many dogs. You might have the stats on this about how many dogs around the world suffer from anxiety, some one form or the other. And I think the whole summit will be really valuable for people, whether they have a dog with generalized anxiety or whether they've got a dog with separation anxiety, or a dog that just suffers from anxiety at certain times as well.
There was a big study done in the last 12 to 24 months that looked at about 7,000 odd dogs in one of the European countries, and I think they said that around about 70% of them were showing at least some signs of anxiety, which is an incredibly high level. I think one of the things about prevention is that I think you need to recognize the early signs of anxiety, and I think humans are actually really bad at recognizing early signs of anxiety in dogs. So what would you tell people to look out for, the kind of little seeds of anxiety that you might want to do something about before it develops into full-blown problems?
Yeah, and I think this is what we talked about in the interview as well. So the subtle signs of anxiety, if we can determine what they are, then we can hopefully break the pattern to, the full-blown signs of anxiety. So we're looking at body language is really important. So what the dogs, they can't talk to us. So unfortunately, oh gosh, don't you wish they could actually speak, verbalize in English? But but they are communicating with us all the time. So they're telling us stuff by their behavior, by their actions. Like that dog that just jumped on my lap. I mean, it was really obvious he was anxious because he was shaking like that. But what were the signs that we can see before he got to that point? So he would have heard that truck coming and he would have been maybe alert, hypervigilant. Maybe his eyes were sort of a little bit more wide. His ears would have come up. His body would have got stiff. Perhaps his tail tucked. But there's more subtle ones than that. There's things like yawns and lip licks. There's the set of the ears, the tension in the body. And so it's all about observing the dog and understanding what that specific dog, and it's obviously an individual thing, because just like us, we all have, we have different, I might move my hands around like this, but, you might just be like that. We've all got,
we've got a different, we're all unique.
Yeah. Exactly. So understanding what your specific dog is trying to tell you is so important. So that means observing the dog and working out what their happy place is, what they look like when they're happy, well and healthy and feeling good, so that we can identify when they don't, when they're doing things that aren't their normal thing.
I reckon there's another two that people should look for. One is a dog that can't settle down, that's kind of restless and never comes into relaxation. That's a sign of anxiety. And another one can be dogs that have trouble learning because they're actually in such an aroused state that they don't have capacity to be able to understand and learn new things. So if you've got dogs like that, they may have anxiety that you just don't even know is there. Yeah,
for sure.
We've got someone who's asked a cat question in the comments, which is, because seeing as you're a dog expert, I don't know how we'll go with that, but the previous cats who came to us feral, brought them home, they got along great. And they always walked around the house with their tails high. All 4 animals, 2 dogs and 2 cats, passed. In November's, we got 2 kitties about 1.5 years old. They walk around with their tails down. Sometimes when we interact with them, petting and talking, their tail will go up, but when they walk away, it goes down. Now, for me, I'd be wondering with a rescue animal like this if there's some kind of trauma or socialization that they might need some help with. What do you reckon?
I don't know. I love cats. I've always had cats, so I don't have any at the moment because unfortunately my two died of old age. But I do have a very big. They've got a very big place in my heart. So yeah, it's hard to know. We got two kitties around 1.5 years. They walk around with their tails down sometimes when we interact with them, petting and
most of the time. It seems that they've rehomed these cats at 1.5 years and old. Most of the time their tails are down. They will put their tails up sometimes when they're directly interacting with the humans, but as soon as the interaction's gone, they kind of tail down again. I know my cats definitely don't always have their tails up, but I do see them have their tails up even when they're not interacting with me at times. So
yeah.
they might just need a bit of some kind of attention in terms of helping them deal with and integrate trauma, which we talk a bit about in this summit too. We've got a really broad range of people. We've got holistic vets, a whole stack of trainers that work with positive reinforcement type things, other people who are animal naturopaths and people who work with essential oils and flower essences and homeopathy, lots and lots of things. So, my invitation is I'm hosting this summit and I'm come on particularly to talk to Ness and your community, Ness. So I'd love to just invite all your people who know you and love you to come along and get stuck in and have some fun learning how to prevent and heal your pet's anxiety.
Absolutely. And I have posted the link into the Facebook group, and I shall post it in the comments of this on YouTube as well, so that anybody watching on YouTube can sign up to the summit, because it starts next week. So you need to sign up.
On Monday morning for the people in USA, about 6 a.m. in the morning, that day's presentations become available. It starts at 8 p.m. The presentations become available for all of our friends here in Australia.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely going to be worthwhile. Really encourage everybody to sign up and take advantage of it.
Yeah, come on.
Information, all the
it's education. It's like fun. I'll also be doing a live Q&A at the end of each day, which is in the evening for all of you American people, and at I think 10 a.m. Australian time, Tuesday through to Saturday next week. So if you've got questions, come along, pop in. Love to answer any questions you have about any of the presentations and about your pets. But Ness, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll wrap up this little introductory session. Do grab your seat. It's free to attend live. There is an all access or premium pass thing, which is really good value, but to get the best price, you have to grab that when you register. The best price goes away about 2 hours after you register. So
it goes up, doesn't it? Yeah. And I know the all access passes are, you can't always get to everybody when it's free and live. So that all access pass is definitely worthwhile.
It's good value. Okay, goodbye everyone. We'll see you in the summit.
Guys.